Well, there's a guy named Neil who was mentioned in the court, works right up under Diddy, was organized and everything. Allegedly, they are saying that he is on video, film, tampering with witnesses, giving out addresses, offering money.
Diddy's former chef Jordan, who is somebody that was a witness during this trial, who was about to testify against Diddy before the prosecution took back some of their witnesses who were testifying, literally claimed that Neil Dominique, a former assistant of Diddy, is the one that told Diddy that she was subpoenaed to the grand jury at the very start of all of this.
A new criminal investigation tied to Tupac Shakur has reportedly been launched after his family pushed for answers, and sources claim Diddy is now the main focus. According to insiders, 50 Cent's documentary Sean Diddy Combs, The Reckoning, is opening doors that were long kept shut. The project suggests that evidence exists linking Diddy to the deaths of both Tupac, raising the possibility that serious legal trouble could finally catch up with.
Court TV has just confirmed that the family of Tupac Shakur is investigating a potential link between the murder of Tupac and Sean Diddy Combs. This coming from attorney Alex Spiro, who represents Tupac's family. Now, this investigation had been previously reported by unnamed sources, but earlier today, Spiro confirmed to our Court TV team that he and a team of investigators has been hired.
Sean Combs allegedly had business dealings with Dwayne "Keefe D. Davis, who will go on trial next March for the murder of Tupac. This was back in 1996. Some have speculated that Diddy ordered Tupac's death. That, of course, is just a theory at this point, and we are monitoring the developments in both the Tupac murder trial and the federal indictment of Sean Diddy Combs. So a lot of information to come.
After spending 2 years investigating behind the scenes, 50 Cent released Sean Diddy Combs, The Reckoning, a documentary centered on allegations surrounding Diddy's past. Since its release, Diddy has allegedly tried everything possible to have it removed. The film claims to feature footage never seen before and presents information that directly connects Diddy to the 1996 killing of Tupac Shakur.
My favorite thing about 50 Cent's Netflix Diddy documentary is how he built a timeline off of this information. And one of my favorite parts of this documentary is them really getting into the timeline of events when it comes to Tupac and Biggie. And it really gives us a lot of perspective from people that were close to the situation. And a lot of people allege in this documentary that they believe that Diddy was very jealous of Tupac. And they pretty much go through everything from the quad incident and Tupac believing that Puffy was behind it, like he said in the Vibe interview. And they lay out this whole timeline of the downfall happening perfectly, in my opinion. We are even hearing from Greg Kading, the detective that worked on Tupac and Biggie's case in this documentary. He is the investigator that did that proffer agreement with Keefe D way back in 2008, where Keefe D alleged that Diddy tried to offer him $1 million to take out Tupac and Suge Knight. And Tupac's trial with Keefe D is coming up very soon in early 2026. And we know that Diddy's name has been dropped at least 200 times during these proceedings already. So this is one case that I am definitely waiting for and I am going to cover. In Keefe D's 2008 proffer agreement, he alleged that Diddy's friend Zip Martin is the one that gave him the weapon that was used to take out Tupac. And Keefe D told the investigator Greg Kading that Zip Martin had a special compartment to keep this weapon in his car that he drove to Las Vegas. And in this documentary, we have Greg Kading confirming that Zip Martin did drive the same type of vehicle that Keefe D alleged to Las Vegas this night. And then during this documentary, we heard from the former president of Bad Boy, Kirk Burroughs, who alleged during this time, Diddy had him hiring a whole bunch of people and getting cars to drive to Las Vegas. And he is now very curious into why Diddy wanted to do this. And he said, in his opinion, he now believes that Diddy was behind taking out.
Back on November 30th, 1994, Tupac was shot multiple times in the lobby of Quad Recording Studios in Manhattan while arriving for a late-night session. Although police described the incident as a robbery, none of Tupac's jewelry was taken. Later, Tupac said he believed Diddy was behind the attack, but he chose not to retaliate or share all the details, saying he kept that knowledge to himself. Almost 2 years later, on On September 13, 1996, Tupac was killed in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas. That moment changed hip-hop forever, and according to critics, created space for Diddy's rise. Many believe Puffy lacked the raw talent of Tupac or Biggie and felt threatened by them. At the time, Biggie was Bad Boy's biggest star, and when Diddy saw Biggie and Tupac getting close, he reportedly knew that alliance could continue.
I think that hate stemmed from wanting to be him, idolize a motherfucker, he idolized Tupac because you got to realize when a woman looked at Tupac, they probably wanted him. Puff wasn't getting that type of fever from girls. You understand what I'm saying? Puff had to use his money. Puff had to use his position in order to get women. Now I seen him with some bad joints, and I used to look at them like this, like, not on no hating shit, but like, you wouldn't be here if he wasn't puffed. If this nigga had no money, you would not be coming out of his room like that. And that's for real, for real. You understand? I'll be like, yo, when I had to, because most of the time I would walk some of them to the door, walk them to get their cabs or whatever like that, or take them down the street and get their cabs and everything like that. Now you be like, I'd be laughing. I just kept a smile on my face when it came to that shit, because I know for a fact, because he said it himself. He said, I don't know how to talk to women. I don't know how to talk to girls. You understand? I said, you don't have to know how to talk to nobody. You're a millionaire. You got it. So he was jealous of Pac because Pac ain't had to do that. Pac had that aura, you know what I'm saying? And he probably knew how to communicate with women. And most women who he talked to that said stuff.
Allegations claim Diddy hired Keefe D, described as a Harlem drug figure, to kill Tupac and promised him $1 million. Keefe D has publicly stated that Diddy was behind the plan. However, with no other witnesses willing to cooperate, Diddy was able to avoid consequences for years.
Let me ask you this. I get it. When you have a case that's 5 years old, it's hard to get overwhelming evidence that meets the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. When you have cases this old, no matter what Fiddy has found out and put in this documentary, do you see it at all ever possible that Diddy could be involved in a trial when it comes to Biggie and Tupac?
It could be possible, yes. However, like I said, they need a lot of corroboration to make that stick, because it's really alleged right now as to his involvement. It's not anything that's substantial or concrete that he was involved. It's personally from people talking about it and saying this is what happened. You need some more information to come forward to prove that.
Last year, Keefe D filed paperwork in a Nevada court accusing Diddy of being responsible for Tupac's death. In return for his testimony, he was reportedly granted immunity and laid out his version of events in detail.
In an interview with the FBI in 1999, Davis apparently said something completely different. According to the FBI report, which was included in the motion to dismiss, Anderson was not involved in the shooting death of Tupac Shakur, and neither Davis nor his group killed Shakur or Christopher Wallace, aka Notorious B.I.G. Davis does not know who the two rap stars. He believes that either individuals from New York associated with Puffy Combs or individuals associated with Death Row Records could have Shakur, and that individuals associated with Death Row Records Wallace. Okay, so again, changing stories. And by the way, Davis goes on to say that he was introduced to Combs in the early 90s by a man named Eric Zip Martin. This is another alleged drug dealer. And this is where we get into it. So the report reads, in or around 1992, Martin introduced Davis to Sean Puffy Combs. Davis recalls the introduction occurring at the Paradise nightclub on Santa Monica Boulevard. After speaking with Combs, Davis agreed to allow Combs to use his 1964 Chevy in a music video. The video featured the artist Usher. After the vehicle was damaged in the production of the video, Combs paid $2,500 to have it repaired. And by the way, according to Davis, Combs was scared of Suge Knight, and this was a man who had a reputation for being, sometimes violent and extreme. And that moves us now to this DEA report. So there was a DEA report from a 2008 task force meeting with Davis that was also included as an exhibit in the motion. And in it, Davis talks about the murder of a man named Jai Robles. This is Knight's bodyguard. He was killed in Atlanta in 1995. And according to Davis, he'd heard a rumor that an associate of Combs had killed Robles. The report says Combs requested to speak to Davis and asked Davis if he thought it was safe for Combs to come to Los Angeles for a concert. Combs expressed his concerns about Knight and possible retaliation related to the Robles murder. Davis advised Combs that he would provide 40 or 50 tickets to the concert. Davis could provide an entourage. Combs agreed, and Davis and his crew in fact attended the concert in support of Combs. Davis recalls the concert taking place in Anaheim, California. It was at this event that Combs began to solicit Davis to kill Knight and Shakur. Combs asserted something to the effect of, "I'll give anything for those dudes."
Now, Tupac's family has stepped forward and joined forces with 50 Cent. They are bringing out new material and targeting Diddy more directly than ever. Tupac's brother, Mopreme Shakur, revealed that Diddy called him in 2008 to deny involvement, but Mopreme said he never believed that explanation.
After an LA Times article in 2008 alleging he'd been involved in your brother's death. What did he say that day when he called you?
He was in town. He was in LA at the time. He was on the radio. He asked a local DJ that we all know, Big Boy, to reach out to me because he wanted to speak to me about something. This is a few years after Pac's murder. And, we all were familiar with all the rumors and stuff. I said, yeah, let me talk to him. So he called me, and, I had my guys with me, Thug Life guys, and we heard what he had to say. He basically said he ain't have nothing to do with my brother's. And I told him the truth is still yet to come out, so we're going to see. Here we are 27, 28 years later. Looks like there's some doubt in that statement. So, thus, along with all the other suspicions that people have, it was time for it to be investigated.
In a statement at the time, Diddy declared, "This story is a lie," the LA Times story. "Neither I nor the late Notorious had any knowledge of any attack on Tupac before, during, or after it happened." Do you think that was an honest statement?
My opinion is that I don't believe it was 100% honest.
One of the darkest claims involves Biggie. Although Biggie and Tupac were friends, Biggie became a target simply because he was signed to Diddy. Biggie reportedly feared for his safety. After Tupac's death, Diddy allegedly pushed Biggie to travel to Los Angeles instead of London, placing him in the city where he would later be killed.
Shocking allegations comes to Biggie Smalls, okay? You talk about finances, you talk about, okay, one of the biggest names at Bad Boy, seemingly very close friends with Sean Combs. Well, according to Kirk Burrows, Combs, and again, this is his allegation, according to Kirk Burrows, Combs insisted that Biggie travel to Los Angeles as part of an album tour. And this is despite, the serious dangers that were present from the rivalries, the East Coast, West Coast. And once there, Combs allegedly decided to cancel a trip that Biggie was supposed to take to the UK, instead saying he needed to stay in LA. Combs apparently threw a large party, and after which, someone opened fire on the car that Biggie was riding in. Now, Burrows alleges that Combs used all of this publicity around Biggie's murder and his massive funeral to just gain his own fame for his own benefit, shooting to the top of the charts with the song Missing You, which featured, by the way, Biggie's widow. But this was one salacious claim that I really wasn't expecting. According to Burrows, Combs allegedly charged the costs of that massive funeral to Biggie's estate and had Biggie's recently renegotiated contract changed to make it more favorable for Bad Boy Records and less favorable for Biggie's loved ones after his death. Elizabeth, again, that one I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, it was really unexpected. And again, I think it speaks to the strength of the documentary, just at least creatively and what they were able to get in terms of the interviewees, claims that we hadn't heard before. So the claims were that, he had wanted, in the documentary, the interviews talk about, Diddy had said, we need to put on the biggest funeral New York has ever seen for Biggie. And when apparently, allegedly, when he saw how much it would cost, that's when he had said, we'll be charging this to the estate, allegedly. One of the other things was he had wanted to put out that song about Biggie Biggie after he had passed away, and that was really a big moment. He had performed it at the MTV Movie Awards. And then one of the other claims was, Biggie was set to debut on the cover of Rolling Stone, or at least be on the cover of Rolling Stone. And allegedly, one of the interviewees says after he had passed, Sean Combs had called him and said, "I'm coming out with my first solo album. I need that cover." So Sean Combs had allegedly taken that cover from Biggie even after he had passed away. And again, it kind of rides to this theme of, in the public, his friend had passed away. He was devastated. But sort of what you see behind the scenes, at least what the documentary is alleging, is all the different ways he's using that to help benefit him financially and in terms of his career, which is something that we...
At this point, 50 Cent appears to be the only major figure openly challenging Diddy. Shortly after the documentary aired, 50 received flowers from Diddy and posted about it on Instagram, suggesting he understood the message behind the gesture.
What Diddy doing, y'all? Alright, the diddler has sent 50 Cent some damn flowers while he locked up, bro. Alright, we all know Diddy is mad about this whole docu-series that 50 put out on Netflix and is #1 going crazy, so you know he mad. Now, according to 50, alright, these are some warning flowers. Y'all know how Diddy used to get down. He used to send people shit in the mail. He'll send a nigga to blow up a car. Y'all know how he get down. So if he mad, clearly he's mad about this documentary. Bro sent 50 some flowers at his hotel while he was in Miami, bro. Now, I ain't gonna show the address on these flowers, but 50 posted the whole address. Now, in the caption, 50 said, "What kind of gay is this? Diddy send me flowers at Club 11, LOL. LOL, why all the foreplay? Get busy, you know I'm stupid." Then he commented again and said, "A warning, I'm 90s grimy. You don't warn me, LOL." So y'all know why Diddy sent this. He ain't send it because he happy or proud of 50 for dropping this goddamn docuseries on his...
50 Cent has claimed he possesses 140 hours of footage that directly implicates Diddy and plans to release it soon. He addressed rumors of a second part through social media as speculation continued to grow.
He just came across in that secret little Diddy footage that he paid from the videographer that Diddy didn't pay. They are saying 50 has footage that will not only add more time to Diddy's sentence, but Diddy might not ever come out. Listen up, check this out. Now, y'all know that footage that where Diddy is behind the scenes talking to his lawyer and all of this stuff, and people like, damn, what was Diddy recording it? Well, Diddy was recording it because he thought he was about to beat the case, so he wanted to do a Netflix documentary. Didn't pay the guy, and then 50 got all 140 hours of footage of secret Diddy tactics. Well, there's a guy named Neil who was mentioned in the court, works right up under Diddy, was organizing everything. Allegedly, they are saying that he is on video, film, tampering with witnesses, giving out addresses, offering money, bribing, we'll pay for your lawyers, all kind of that could be counted as witness tampering, obstruction of justice. And 50, of all people, has his hands on this footage. And I'm hearing that this could implicate Diddy's lawyers in some bull. They could be charged. Shit is getting wild. And I'm hearing that this 50 Cent documentary is just a tip of the ice.
Man in this video footage of 50 Cent's post starts talking about a specific name, a man named Neil. And this man goes on talking about how he heard that 50 Cent has this extra footage, but it's footage that could possibly lead to Diddy getting more charges, like witness tampering, obstruction of justice, and more. And what's crazy about the name Neil that he brings up in this is the fact that the other day, Diddy's former chef Jordan, who is somebody that was a witness during this trial, who was about to testify against Diddy before the prosecution took back some of their witnesses who were testifying, literally claimed that Neil Dominique, a former assistant of Diddy, is the one that told Diddy that she was subpoenaed to the grand jury at the very start of all of this. She wrote this whole big post to Neil Dominique and tagged him in it and said, "I just want to put this out there because I've been debating how I wanted to handle this situation. Now, I don't know you from a can of paint, but I'm really wondering why you decided to tell Sean Combs that I was contacted by the feds. I saw that you wrote him a good character letter too. Come to find out, you were actually providing Puff with information on a whole bunch of people throughout the case. So my thing is, why were you so comfortable putting me in danger? Why were you so comfortable putting other people in danger? You provided addresses to him. Were you like a double agent working for the feds and Puff? This is actually crazy because she alleged that Neil Dominique was approached by the feds as well in this investigation into Diddy because he was a former assistant.
In an interview released yesterday, 50 confirmed he is still reviewing the remaining footage. He also hinted that a second part may focus on allegations involving minors. Meanwhile, Diddy's legal team has sent cease and desist letters to Netflix, arguing the documentary contains unauthorized, private, and copyrighted material.
Overnight, lawyers for Sean Diddy Combs trying to stop the release of a Netflix docuseries due out today. The series contains never-before-seen footage of Combs debating strategy with his lawyers in the days leading up to his arrest in New York last year. It also includes video of Combs greeting fans in Harlem.
I'm gonna win. As long as you win, be with it. I'll accept it.
And then saying this about the interaction moments later.
I need some hand sanitizer. Hold on. I've been out in the streets amongst the people. Yeah, I gotta take a bath. Like the amount of people that actually I'm coming in contact with, like that's what I have to do. You know what I'm saying? It's like 150 hugs.
Now Combs' lawyers are demanding Netflix pull the series, threatening legal action, claiming Netflix is using stolen footage that was never authorized for release as part of what they call a shameful hit piece. The series is executive produced by Combs' longtime rival, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, and director Alex Stapleton, who said, quote, "We obtained the footage legally and have the necessary rights," end quote. Before the cease and desist demand was sent yesterday, Stapleton and Jackson sat down with our Robin Roberts to discuss the series.
How do you respond to people who say that it's more about the disdain that you have for Sean Combs than it is for giving the victims a platform?
It's not personal.
The show is not completely the perspectives of people that did not like Sean. Not everyone needed to have an allegation to be a part of.
Many believe Diddy's fame helped shield him. Jaguar Wright has accused the jury of bias, claiming it was stacked with people sympathetic to Diddy and compromised from the start.
And the juror 106, that goofy black, they sitting there and when they ask about him making eye contact or about him looking at the jury, they both lied. In my opinion, they both lied. The way when it asked, well, did he ever make eye contact? No. No, well, see, they gave instructions and said, you can't look at him. But the girl sat there and was talking about how he would look over at the jury because he forgot where he was and how, you know, sometimes he would nod and do this. But you said that he never looked over at the jury. You said that you never made eye contact with him. And then she starts talking about, yeah, because I just think that he nods back and forth because he always used to do that. If you were never a fan of him, if you were only a fan of the artist, and you were never a fan of him, and you were never paying, and then the way they were able to edit in him nodding back and forth during making the band and all of that, it's just kind of wild to me that nobody is seeing exactly how compromised these jurors.
Whether charges come or not, the long-protected image surrounding Diddy is clearly falling apart. With more evidence expected and public pressure rising, this story is far from finished. If even part of these claims proves true, one of hip-hop's most powerful legacies could collapse entirely. If you want the full story, unseen details, and updates as this situation continues to unfold, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what comes next. This story is far from over, and we'll be following every new development right here on Haley Reporter.